And hello there, this is DrIzixs with another episode of Minecraft on the Banana Viking Server, and that's a big mushroom. Yes. That is where we are at presently at the Giant Mushroom Project. It's pretty huge and large. And it's very dark underneath it, isn't it? Because you see, it's complete. Well, the top part of it is. Still need to have the under curve bit here, and then the bottom, and then the stem and all that. But we'll start to work on that today, perhaps. But before we get to all that, I would like some redstone. There we go. And my daylight detector, and probably some blocks. Yeah. Hooray! All right. So we're going to set up the reset button of this little device, monstrosity, structure. The key portion of which... There's cats everywhere. Is to help it reset every day so that the villagers freak out properly. Because I have a tendency not to do that. Alright. Maybe I should have gotten some slabs here. Whoop. That's not what I wanted. Whoops. There we go. There we go. That way, if I fall again, I can hit something. All right. So we're going to jump up here. Put that there. And we are going to proceed on up. There's my torches. Because we got a fair bit to go forward here. So, don't necessarily need that right now. We'll get the timing of this sorted. Oh man, I dropped it down, didn't I? It's going to be a little annoying. I might need more blocks here in a moment. So, I guess, given that I did a little bit of ranting last time, maybe it's time for me to do a little bit more today. I'm not going to have rants every single time I play Minecraft, but I do have a lot to say sometimes, and I'm not necessarily got the patience for everything to come out in a essay video. So this might be one that would be a worthy topic, and that's the topic of, I guess the shortest version I can sort of sum it up as, it is okay if you're a Republican. You know, I'm a pretty political sort of fellow here, so me not approving of antics by the Republican Party tends to be pretty expected, honestly. But that said, there is so maybe I should sort of back up and sort of explain a little bit better what I'm meaning by all this specifically. So when you have a certain level of internal party loyalty, you can begin to take on preferential behavior when it comes to interacting with other people involved in that party. For instance, if, say, I don't know, you had a president of your own party who was super happy to break the law, solicit help from foreign governments to get himself reelected, and engage in quid pro quo in order to get his... Man, how far does this go? To get himself more power, and you were just sort of suddenly okay with that because he was, quote, on your side, on your team. That leads to basically being super okay with terrible behavior, corruption, all that fun jazz. And that's kind of not cool. Yeah, let's not worry about that here. We'll build a dealy bob here. A pillar of some sort. Just pillar up. Let's be fine. And so, this sort of thing, didn't come out all at once. It's sort of a long-running problem where you get, that sort of tribalism problem going on, where you got, folks that will reflexively defend any old terrible behavior because of where it comes from, who's doing it, instead of taking step back, like maybe this is bad for the country or democracy, or maybe illegal, perhaps, that sort of thing. And so you get, and it builds into a long-term pattern of behavior that is in the end harmful for people and the country in general. So you got that problem, all right? So where does that start? Does it start somewhere benign? Sometimes people thinking they're right, and it's like, well, if I was right about this one time, and then my particular favorite got, we're almost there, okay. got their corruption on, but they were totally with me on this thing that I feel is a moral imperative. Sure, of course I'll, excuse their horrendous behavior. Because, if they are... How am I going to do this here? I need to open this up a little bit here. There we go. I think I might hide it here. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work. So I guess people, defend it because, like, oh yeah, because we have this sort of moral thingamajig going on here that is going to make it basically. I think we're set up here correctly. We'll see how this goes here. About to do. Oh no. I'll just go ahead and fill this in. If I need to fix it up, I'll do so. Yar. Hooray! A lovely elytra. So I guess it's generally started by insistence that your position is the morally correct one, and we can disagree on what that morally correct position is. I have very strong opinions that a lot of the positions that Republicans claim are morally correct are really not. But that's kind of how things start out as far as a psychological approach goes. So I'm kind of skeptical, due to this sort of long-running behavior of folks who are reflexively defensive about bad behavior by their favorites, be politicians, celebrities, other people they have prior social relations with. I'm generally kind of skeptical when folks kind of try to play off actually straight up bad behavior by that person or their fans or anything like that, as not a good thing, to put it lightly, I guess. Where am I going? So I generally also try to sort of discourage that sort of thing in the long run. I'll go ahead and just toss this here. It's time to make the stem, guys. Might need to collect some more helios here. Woo-ha! So I got some skepticism there. I'm not gonna be able to see most of this. But I want the iron output to be somewhere down here. So we'll start just generally. It doesn't have to be even here. So yeah, so I'm a little, I guess, unhappy at the moment because I see a very similar sort of instant reactive sort of behavior taking place with folks on the left. And it might just be this campaign sort of thing, but it might not. I'm rather worried that it is not going to, that it's going to be a longer term issue beyond this year and this campaign. All right. You might notice I didn't make this perfectly circular with the central here. That's because it's a mushroom. It's going to have some wild parts. And we're just going to start building up as I do my little chatty here. Because right now I'm seeing a lot, especially from the Sanders supporting corner of things, a habit to basically try to excuse any sort of terrible behavior, especially from folks that have come out in support of his campaign in even like a very super light fashion. And I'm suddenly facing this dilemma that this very much feels like when Republicans just sort of play off any misbehavior by their own folks as, oh, this is not a crime. This is standard practice when it totally isn't. And you shouldn't worry about this. This is nothing to be concerned about. It's not a sign of horribleness under the hood here. It's don't believe your lying eye sort of stuff. And that's kind of making me a little uncomfortable. Especially when I, try to point out, it's like, oh yeah, Mariana Williamson is kind of a terrible person. She's made money off of basically encouraging people to suffer. Getting people to, get off their medications for their mental health or their actual chronic diseases that if they don't take the medication they might die from. And she's done this over a number of years so she can make a buck. But apparently calling that out for what it is now forbidden. And you have to, even if you do have this view, you have to scream 10 times as loudly about other people who have even worse behavior, or who target other specific groups or whatever. And it gets in this weird sort of thing where it's like, I don't trust you anymore to be giving me a straight actual answer about any of this at this point. Because you seem like you're trying to manipulate me into automatically forgiving someone when I don't have any good reason to. But there's perhaps a very good reason why they, are defending this particular person. Because they, just the other day, endorsed Bernie Sanders for president. And thus, them being a terrible person is not something we can talk about anymore. Same thing with that Rogan guy. It's like, wow, this guy's kind of a sexist asshole and kind of racist too. Oh, you can't talk about that. To do so, it means you're against the revolution or some jazz. I'm gonna go and scoot this one here. Slowly sort of step them in various spots here. Yeah, we'll have that here. And that one there. Excellent. So yeah, so there's this weird defense coming in here for these sort of, characters here that is kind of unsettling, and it's definitely feels like there's folks trying to pull excuses wherever they can in order to defend them. And I'm just like, nope. Don't like that. Yeah, go and do that. So yeah, I'm not interested in carrying weight for terrible people just because they happen to share an opinion with me on something. It's not something I approve of. Because people that are abusive and harmful to others, that are allowed to basically get away with it because they just happen to say the right things to the right people at the right time, means they are allowed to just keep doing the abusive behavior. And that really doesn't sit well with me. And the longer such attitudes persist that it's okay if this happens. Did the thingamajigs go down? Are they sleeping? I think they're sleeping. Good. Yeah, it went down. Good. Got the redstone in the right place. What was I saying? So yeah. Letting people off on this kind of stuff is basically an open invitation for continuation of abuse. And I really don't want to be perpetuating that, no matter what, top-level cause it's apparently supposed to be supporting. We are almost to our level here. So we're still going to need something to fill in the bottom bit here, but we can harvest lots more mushrooms for that. It'll be fine. And we'll go ahead and do that here. Boop-a-doo. So yeah, I guess my final thoughts on all that is, don't make it a requirement that I have to approve of straight up awful people in order for me to support something good. That sound fair? I hope so. Because sometimes the enemy of my enemy is not my friend. Sometimes they're actually kind of terrible too. And yeah, so that's about where we're gonna top it off. Nice, good level here. Can access easily. And I might embed some glowstone in some parts here to make it a little more interesting to look at. Alrighty. How's that looking here? All right, other than the doorway gap here, it looks like the start of a stem. Nice. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a morning. I know it's almost morning time, but I want to sleep. I want to get in bed. I want to rest. So yeah. So I guess moral of the story is, don't reflexively defend awful people. Just in general. Even if you think you have the moral high ground on the situation, it can basically encourage folks to excuse anything, because if it's just as long as you say the right things at the right time, you'll have defenders. And that's kind of bonkers to me. There is actions are more important than rhetoric, after all. And if you've made a lot of money basically encouraging people to internalize their self-loathing, and or to get them, off life-saving medications, that makes you kind of a monster. That is an action she has taken, and thus she is far from anyone I want to, be praising for anything here. So, Anyway, that's enough of my ranting. I need to get some of this off my chest while I start on the next bit here. I'm going to go ahead and start filling this in, and maybe next time we'll be working on something completely different. Should have enough iron up there at this point to get most of the hoppers sorted out so it all pops out down the bottom. I also need to figure out, an option for disposing of the plant materials that come with. It's a lot of poppies up there. Anyway, this has been me ranting again while building some mushroom stuff here in Minecraft on the Banana Viking server. If you enjoyed, make sure to like button, subscribe for more, bell, the jazz. By this point, guys, if you want to get people's videos, you have to go through 10,000 hoops in order to do it. And I got a Patreon link down below. And until next time, everybody, toodles.